Hello HEMA friends, and welcome to Mordhau. Yes, following your advice, I bought the game and I have now played it for several hours. And to be completely honest from the beginning with you, I found this game really fun and interesting. The skill cap of this game is extremely high, so especially if you, like me, have almost never played this kind of games genre, namely first-person slashers or shooters, at the beginning you will end up being always dead. This may seem frustrating, but it also means that when you start to get good at the game, you end up enjoying any kind of improvement you made. Even if the game ends up being complex, the fighting system is quite simple, and in some aspects also realistic. You have 6 cuts and 2 thrusts, 2 fendenti from above, 2 sottani from below, 2 mezzani in the middle and 1 thrust on the left and 1 on the right. You have also a parry, which can parry any kind of blow, but must be timed correctly, because it endures only half a second. You have a way to feint attacks too, which interrupt any kind of offensive action described above during its execution to feint any kind of attack that you want. The feint system is very well made, because you can stop your offensive action at the very beginning or halfway, so you can decide if you want a very small and fast feint or a big and slower one. The attacks into this game interact with each other. This is because every weapon, structure and body in the game occupy a physical space. This makes particular actions possible, like parrying a cut with another cut and then cut into the opening or executing exchange of thrusts. This also means that you can avoid attacks by moving sideways, backward or with other movements. Psychology is also part of this game. Yelling while rushing toward the opponent, feinting or jumping can make people panic and throw out the parry too early, creating an opening for an attack. The only downside of the fighting in this game is that armor only mitigates damage in a very small way. So in these terms, the game is completely unrealistic, but it makes sense in terms of game design and makes the fighting system fun. One of the things which I like more about combat in the end is that during skirmishes you have to be constantly aware of what happens around you. Maybe you have a chance to hit someone easily and so you run blindly toward him while at the same time a horseman thrusts you in the back. It's something which is very realistic. When a fight between 2 groups of people happens without proper organization of the fronts, this is something that can happen. And even if sometimes you and some smart people create a front, sometimes people get around you in some sneaky way and attacks you in the back. Very interesting, very realistic. There are a lot of things to talk about in regards of the fighting system, so I will probably make a video entirely dedicated to it, to compare some of game's actions with the real one. For now, I can only say that the fighting system really satisfies me. It's probably the one which has the most realistic approach to a fight which I have ever seen. That said, let's talk about Charcter Customization. So, where and when is set Mordhau? I would say in a general medieval fantasy setting without magic. And by the way, this is why some of my mercenaries have names that comes from a Warhammer Fantasy Battles lore. To be fair, there is a good number of armor pieces, weapons and dresses which sometimes is really well made, while others are completely wrong. The game, of course, makes it possible to mix up pieces of equipment, so sometimes the result is quite good and sometimes it's just garbage. That said, if you are in search for historical accuracy, this is not your game. But on the other way, the customization system is very well made. You can customize the face of your mercenary, his body and his armor. the weapons have an even deeper level of customization, which makes you choose the weapon you like more, and then change the skin of the weapon in different ways. So in the end, my opinion about this game is really positive. It's fun, entertaining and quite hard. It represents quite well the chaos of a fight and is highly skill-based. Dueling 1 versus 1 is also really fun and gives you a huge amount of possible strategies to put out due to the good way in which the fighting system has been designed. So guys, I hope you liked the video. Remember, if you want to help this channel, share this video around the social media network, subscribe to my channel, and if you want to help me even more, consider subscribing to my Patreon page. You will find the link on top of the video description. Thanks for watching guys, and see you next time.